Sweet and tart straight to your heart, citrus sunshine at your service. How's it going, everyone? Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Are you guys exciting? Oh, nice. This sub was a long time ago. I just want to be free of this message. Thank you, Luna, for staying a home slice. Thank you. 3-month gift subscription courtesy of 9-volt worm has entered month 3. That's like kind of ominous, don't you think? That's kind of spooky. It has entered month 3. But welcome in, everyone. Hi, Alex, and hi, West of 6. Hi, Spatula. Hi, 9-volt worm. Menopause Saturday. I can't think of a word that relates. What's a word related to menopause that has to do with S? Anyways, I don't care. Zipper, welcome in. I hope you guys are ready to learn because I spent like way more time than I probably should have working on this lecture. Well, mostly because I wanted it to be like really comprehensive, but not. I didn't want it to be too extreme or go into too much detail that didn't make sense if you didn't have all the relevant information. So it's kind of got a couple of topics in it. All related to menopause. They're all like interconnected, like that. Welcome in, Azure, and hi, Archie. Hi, Kraid. Hi, Azaroshi. So glad I enrolled in Professor Citrus's course on Menopause 101. I'm kind of excited because, a lot of the time I can't really yap about things that I'm really, really, really knowledgeable about. Like when I do organic chemistry stuff, not that I'm knowledgeable in that, it seems like I can't explain myself without going backwards. So this is pretty easy to do, like large concept lecture. Hi, Man Spider, and hi, Glistening. Hi, Jinsei. Why do I have no money when there's a sub sale? I just saw that. I saw that there was some kind of sale going on. I didn't look at it too hard because I was just like, okay, I gotta go. Entering month 3 of being subject to citrus sunshine. That should be a gift. That should be a gift for you guys. Can we grade you on the presentation? Yeah, I guess so. I'm also gonna, you guys can ask questions whenever, or you can ask questions at the end too. I might be able to answer them, I might not be. But I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited, I don't know. I think it's all very interesting, like body processes. And TBH, the science behind menopause is pretty complex, so I didn't go into it. Well, I have brief info on it, but nothing crazy. You'll be panhandling at the convention? I'm gonna call the cops on you, Glistening. Flea Flicker, welcome in, and hi, Jerry, and hi, Sky. Welcome in. Yeah, you guys donated for this. Hater of the poor. You're disturbing the peace, Glistening. That's all I can say. We never know what to expect with your titles. This is for real. I'm not joking. This is really happening. This title is not incorrect. Yeah, mostly I wanted to do a lecture on this, and the reason why I put it in my subathon goals is because I feel like I'm really tired of seeing people be like, oh, a dying star can always be reignited, like your star never went out, queen. It never left. You don't gotta. Like, the joke is not, this is so stupid to say. The joke is not funny to me because I have information. I sound so stupid saying that. You're wrong. This joke is not funny based on real medical data. I should be shot. Oh man. Yeah. So, if I can do a little bit of clarification for people, that would be fun for me. Violet says that's not fun. Yeah, Science says that's not funny. He kicked my dog. Thank you for the 100 stream streak. Thank you for the 100 bits. I strictly forbid my nephews from watching orchestras. There's too much sax and violins. Boo. 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 Welcome in. Wow. Yeah, so I think it'll be fun at the very least. But also, I mean, most of you guys like women and you would enjoy to have a long life with a woman, right? And I think that, like, menopause is not really talked about, but also, strangely enough, it's really talked about right now. And I'm gonna go into that in the lecture as well. So, like, why, like, when I was in New York, I saw so many ads. I took a couple of pictures, but none of them were really relevant. When I was in Times Square, there was an ad for hormone replacement therapy for perimenopausal women. And I was like, oh my god, in Times Square? This is serious. This is serious. I was very, very, very shocked. I'm okay with having a short life with a woman too. Well, I mean, I don't know how old you are, Sky, but if you hang out with a woman, or if you know a woman who's over 52, this is also relevant to them. Neil deGrasse Sunshine, shut up! I'm not like him. I'm not like him. I'm not like him. Name a woman, me. Yeah, but I mean, you know, some of you guys know your mothers too. They're probably peri or postmenopausal, depending on how old you are. So that also, if you know a woman, I know, I didn't want to. Just in case none of you know a woman, I don't know what's going on. My mom is in fact a woman. I'm glad to hear that. This might help you relate to her. It's actually kind of funny because my mom just got all of her hormones tested, like, for menopause to see if she was in menopause. And, like, she was telling me all this shit like, oh, sometimes I just wish someone would start something with me. And, like, she was telling me about this story where this lady was really mean to the older woman who was working at the deli in Publix, and she was like, I wish I was there. I wish I was there because I would have just lost my shit. And I was like, oh, that's like that perimenopausal rage. But then they did her hormone blood work, and she's like so not menopausal, it's crazy. So I'm low-key terrified to see her in actual menopause. Like, I thought that all this shit was because she was in menopause, but I guess not. Scary. Isn't that just being from Cali? No, it's being from Florida. Just anger issues? Yeah. She just really wants to unleash the beast. She should have done it sooner. My mom's a woman? She might be. You have to find out. Just simply had enough. Yeah, well, because she doesn't want to start something herself. She just wants to be the one to finish it. Resolutely. She wants to end it. She wants to make someone feel bad for their opinions. Like, because this lady was being mean. Menopause funds, one bit, thank you. She wants to parry. No, she wants to jump axe great attack. Yeah, she wants to do something crazy like that instead. But hopefully you guys enjoy this. I don't know how fun. It'll be fun for me, but I hope it's fun for you guys too. And if you guys like this, then I can do more women's health in the future. I don't know how many people want to do that. Napoleon, how are you? Welcome in. So I don't think I've ever talked about it on. Oh my god. Anonymous, thank you for the 10 gift subs. Thank you. I haven't even started my lecture yet. I gave up on women a long time ago. That's fair. Women do exist, though. I don't like how the cashier said, thank you, have a great day. You think she wants to throw hands? That's the thought process that my own mother has when she's out. I told you guys before how me and her, this was a long time ago, me and her went to Cracker Barrel together, and she was talking to the waitress, and she asked the waitress, oh, how's the chicken fried steak? I've never had it here. And the girl, she was like some teen. She was like, oh, I'm vegetarian, so I don't know myself. And my mom complained about that to the manager and said, like, she at least needs to have, like, a general understanding of how that tastes. Like, bro, be serious. And so, I'm just hiding in the Cracker Barrel gift shop while this happens. Like, okay, do whatever you like. Do whatever you like. But if you got a gift sub, make sure to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. How dare she have food preferences? It's okay. It's okay. But yeah, she's been like that forever. I don't even know. I was hoping it was menopause, is all I'm saying. But she's just intrinsic like that. Double C, welcome in. Oh, and hi, Galu. But yeah, I've never talked about this on stream before. But I will be going to graduate school after I finish my bachelor's, which will happen next weekend. And I'm going to be focusing in women's health. So I have a lot of knowledge already. I'm hoping to go into OBGYN idol. So I have a lot of info on this subject. Next weekend, graduate, let's go! Yeah, she's cool and a Karen. She insists that she's a weaponized Karen. She only is a Karen for good. Which, sometimes she's like that. Graduate school? Ugh! Your mom hates vegans? She probably does. Hi, Squall, how are you? So hopefully that works out. It's gonna be hard to get into a graduate school, but this is what I enjoy studying and what I enjoy learning. So hopefully it will be enjoyable for you guys too. I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes. But what topics are you guys interested in learning about medically? I didn't go too far into like men's health stuff because a lot of, I guess I do have like one little part. I'm sure that's how most Karens must perceive themselves. No, I think probably some of them are terrible people, just in general. Miss Sunshine, how do I become immortal? You don't. If you die, then you're immortally dead. Oh yeah, and my mom allowed me to use her FSH levels in my presentation, so I'm pretty happy. I can use her as a reference point because her levels, like, they have like reference points on them, which is nice. Yeah, extra permanent, unmortal, dead. Yeah, but that's gonna be busy for the data points. I know. Well, I was really shocked when she told me. I was like, man, you are so you could be pregnant again. And she was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I would never. No. Doxing her own mother, doxing her menopausal status, which is still pre. Men's Mental Health Month. I don't know too much about that. I do think that men should take care of themselves regardless. If you sacrifice 100 people every 50 years, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of blood on your hands. That's my opening pickup line. Okay, I'm going to start it. You guys don't have to take notes, but it'll be fun to learn at the very least. I have like 4 pages that I wrote that are just like talking points. I think that'll be fun. And thank you so much for the follow. Oni-chan, welcome in. And hi, Sayo. Pop quiz at the end. No, this will just be enjoyable for you guys. Ooh, hype chest. Thank you guys for the hype train. My goodness, what the hell is that? Oh, red card I got. Ooh, okay. Ooh. Silvers, thank you for the 500 bits. I appreciate it. Thank you. Menopause. I have a question. Yes, what's your question? Raise your hand. What's your question? Yeah, I'm gonna go over here. My lecture is menopause an instrument? An instrument of infertility, maybe? Oh, this is being covered. But this is my lecture, Menopause and You. Specifically, you guys, home slices. This will be relevant to your lives eventually. Once you guys are old, it'll be relevant to your lives. Oh, and you can't see it behind me, but Mr. Solo Leveling's mom, I don't know what her name is behind me, cause I did the math. Hold on. Yeah, let me move this. All the other ones are hold on. You see, I did the math, and technically, Mr. Solo Leveling's mom should be still premenopausal, cause he's like 24, but she doesn't look that old. And I mean, if he was born when she was like 20, then technically she would still be premenopausal, maybe perimenopausal. That woman from Dan to Dan, she's like 50. It's still possible. I wanted to just prove how possible it was. I tried to put different anime girls who are older, which was weirdly hard to find, because most anime girls are either like 18 or 900. Yeah, 50 is still possible. 50 is still possible. Tsunade is on here. Tsunade is still on here. Is on here. Master Delane, welcome in. Professor made every student ask a question at the end to make sure they paid attention. I just like if you guys ask me questions, but you don't have to. This is for my own, I guess, stroking my own ego, because I put a lot of shit in here. Okay. So first off, I wanted to say, before anything else, that this is meant to be educational for you guys, and to show you that even your older woman, quote-unquote, VTubers are not anywhere near done being fertile. Like, I know that there's like, oh, even a dying star can be reborn, fertility treatments, fertility pills you can take. First off, those pills, the natural supplements, they don't friggin' work. And second off, I'm sure that she could still have a baby at any time, and it wouldn't be that big of an issue. It's all just projecting because we all look at 18-year-old sexy anime girls all day. Okay, here. And then I put a for real menopausal anime woman on this slide. Big Mom from One Piece. You're offline? I can't hear your voice. Are you guys able to hear me? But a basic overview of menopause is that it is the period of time in which a woman stops having any eggs to fertilize. This causes a whole bunch of hormonal changes in the body based on... It's called the hypothalamic pituitary ovarian axis. So when a woman goes through her menstrual cycle, a whole bunch of eggs are chosen to be like in the cohort of potential fertilized eggs. So whichever one has the best ability to be stimulated by this axis is the one that grows the biggest and then is sent off into the fallopian tube to potentially be fertilized every single month. It's kind of crazy, but babies, not just babies, fetuses, a female fetus in the mother's womb has 6 million eggs. And then by the first period that a woman has, they have about 400,000 to 300,000 eggs left by that point. And this is crazy to say, but of those eggs, only about 400 of them will ever come through the uterus to be either menstruated out or to be fertilized. Like, these eggs are finite, but there are so many of them at any single moment. Like, it's kind of doing its own natural selection system by having these, like, 1,000 egg cohorts that arrive in the ovaries every single month. And how do I put this? Yeah, 6 million eggs. You have to be the egg that won too. Yeah, I should have looked up what like the ratio is between like sperm that has to make it, because I know that like thousands and thousands of sperm race to fertilize the egg, but I can only imagine it's pretty equivalent to the amount of eggs as well. And if I were to say it like I put this? This is in later slides, but like the eggs that get fertilized first, like say age 20, those eggs are the ones that are more likely to fall through the ovaries. Same with like sperm. Like it's all based on like cell systems. This is why I didn't want to go too far into this. But like someone who is sorry, I'm skipping around on my own slides. But let me go back to this one because the next slide actually talks a lot more about this. So when a woman no longer has any eggs, FSH, the follicle stimulating hormone, continues to excrete this hormone, but it doesn't have a stopper because here, is it on here? Okay. This will be easier for me to explain. So FSH stimulates these eggs in the ovaries to grow larger. And then once it gets large enough to like be attached to the fimbriae and then go into the uterus, this little explosion hole where the corpus luteum is, it starts releasing a hormone called progesterone. And progesterone, it basically thickens the endometrial lining of the uterus to either implant the egg when it's fertilized or excrete it through the menstrual cycle. What is FSH? Follicle stimulating hormone. It stimulates these follicles right here to grow this egg. And it chooses whichever follicle gets stimulated the most has the egg that goes through the uterine tube. And so when FSH fertilizes one of these eggs and this explodes, progesterone will stop FSH production entirely. But if you don't have any eggs and the egg doesn't explode, it just continues to make FSH forever and ever. And so women who don't have any more eggs, they start to have higher FSH values. You can see it right here in these. These are my mom's FSH and estradiol levels. Yeah, it's basically infinite FSH. So a postmenopausal woman can have up to 131 units of FSH in their blood serum. Whereas you can see in the follicular phase, when it's growing that egg, it can be, from like 2 to 11 units. And then as it's pretty big, as the egg gets bigger and like more mature, it can increase. And then once it explodes, it goes back down in the luteal phase. But since postmenopausal women have no eggs to explode, basically they just keep creating FSH forever. This is why FSH is the de facto way to know if someone is postmenopausal or not. Wizard Raid, go away, welcome in. Yeah, sorry, it was hard for me to explain what I was talking about without going backwards. But this is the de facto. Otherwise, signs and symptoms. You guys probably know them, like brain fog, like hot flashes. There's that really famous TikTok of that woman who's in the cold and she's bald and she's having such a bad hot flash that her head is steaming. It causes all of these imbalances because in your average premenopausal woman, they're having all of these hormonal changes all the time in kind of like an up and down and up and down and up and down kind of cycle. And so once that gets out of whack, all these other... Oh, she was cartoon angry? FSH is important because it's the indicator for menopause. FSH, yeah. FSH, like, if it's elevated, it doesn't really mean anything. But in the menstrual cycle, it goes through these, like, elevations and de-elevations every single month. And so if someone is having a normal FSH value, like, look, for example, my mother was having an FSH value at this time of 5.91. So this would show that she, I don't know, she was probably, I don't know, maybe very shortly after her period. This shows that she's still having those up and down values. And all of these different hormones like regulate all sorts of different things, like estrogen. Estrogen is controlled by FSH, by estradiol, by luteinizing hormone. You don't need to know these. But like those hormones control like bone density, like estradiol in particular controls calcium absorption in women. And that's why menopause, if a woman's like postmenopausal, they'll start having bone density loss. And by age 65 or earlier, most women are recommended to get a bone density scan. I think men also are supposed to have bone density scans at 65, but depending on like familial factors, you can be like more indicated for osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, that kind of thing. Why would evolution do this? Good question. We used to live for a shorter amount of time, but that's not wholly accurate because still people were living to 70, 80, especially women, because women on average have lived longer since like the history of time. I really don't know why this happens, TBH. Nor does anyone. Like, why? Why in general? Why in general? That would be a hard question. That would probably be some kind of like philosophical question more than anything. But it happens. It happens. It's one of the most complex series of like endings of how do I put this? It's like one of the most complex end cycles like in any type of body. Is there an evolutionary advantage to getting menopause? No. It doesn't seem like it. It mostly seems like it's a fail-safe for if someone's having a child like really late in age, then maybe primally the body is like, you're too old, you won't have enough time to nurture that child, but that's not scientifically proven. That's just my potential theory. Yeah. I don't know why it happens, but it does. And it's crazy too, because guys produce testosterone from the testes all throughout the year. Like, there's no phases really. But men will only lose testosterone by like 1% each year until they die. So having like such a crazy thing happen to women is pretty unmatched. That's why I was laughing about a couple weeks ago. I saw like hormone replacement therapy for men with testosterone. Like, that does nothing. You probably have enough testosterone. Outside of huge outliers. Strawberry Mochi, welcome in. Okay. But Big Mom was the only major anime character that I could think of at the time that is probably 100% postmenopausal. She's 68 in this image. I don't feel like I have enough testosterone. That could be just like psychosomatic. Yeah, well, it's also difficult because when people get older, they start having more errors in their cell cycles. And so that could also be the reason why menopause happens, because after age 50, for men and women, the risk of cancer goes up exponentially because of these cell cycle errors. And so it could also be another failsafe against that. But that would also be difficult to prove. But, okay, I talked about this. Yeah, but I thought this was a good, chart for this. As you can see, FSH goes up exponentially, and estradiol goes down, because estradiol's also created in this really complex HPO axis, like, because of the menstrual cycle garbage. And then you can see like BMI goes up a little bit more because none of these processes are really happening anymore. It's really complex. I thought this would be easier to explain after I had written it all out, but it really wasn't. I heard it's because they're putting estrogen into cows and it's affecting their milk. I don't know anything about that, but they might be. But yeah, I wanted to talk about this in particular. So I feel like in media, especially recently, I feel like I've been seeing so much stuff about menopause, and specifically perimenopause, which is about the 5 years before a woman actually becomes menopausal. When I was in New York, I saw ads for HRT. I saw ads for Kegels, which are a perimenopausal issue. It was really crazy. And the reason why I think we see so much about this right now is because we have a pretty aging population. I thought that this little graphic that I found on Facebook was pretty nice. It says that an estimated 1/4 of Canada's 20 million workforce are going through menopause or are postmenopausal. And the number of women ages 45 to 55 is expected to grow by 27% by 2040. In Canada. That's not even America. I didn't pull these from America. Cultural angst about decline in fertility, but the thing is that they are still fertile. I haven't gotten to that yet. Why do we need those specific hormones? Because they regulate like so many different things in our bodies. Hormones are an incredibly complex system that control everything about our bodies. Like the pituitary gland, like, makes us grow taller and go through puberty. It's crazy. In the census data, women are having fewer babies. Yeah, that is true. But that is besides the point. And I think that all this stuff about perimenopause also, not this. Also leads women to believe that they can't have children. Like, I have this really nice, fake, wrong chart right here that says from preteen to ages 35 to 45, you have a normal productive life. Here, let me make this larger. Normal productive life premenopause. 35? Last regular period? That's so bullshit. Yeah. So you're normal here. And then from 35 you die. Like, then it's just a slow decline, and then you suffer for the rest of your life. Like, this is not correct. From age 35, you still have regular periods. Like, this is way too early. And I saw someone not too long ago who thought that after she was 33, she thought that she was no longer fertile, which is just incorrect. My next slide actually goes into that, because there is an age that is considered higher risk for pregnancies, but it is 35. It's not any time before that. In fact, it's really, really rare to have, like, early onset menopause. I think it's called premature ovarian failure, and it only affects, like, up to 5% of all women. Life is over for everyone at 35, as it should be. Do you think women living more independent and child-free lifestyles is bringing the menopause on early? No. Personally, if I had to say it, I think it's microplastics. Because I didn't put this in my chart because I didn't want to sound crazy. But a lot of environmental factors cause early onset of periods, and microplastics in particular, they harbor a lot of endocrine disrupting hormones, and the endocrine system is where all of your hormones come from, and that can affect your period pretty significantly, and it can affect your fertility pretty significantly. But I didn't put that in my slides because I didn't want to sound like a crazy person. But that's my personal thought on it. Quanthor, welcome in. Hag death. No, hag life. The reason why I made this is because I wanted to talk about hag life. So, I didn't put the chart in here, but women are the most fertile between ages 20 and 35 years old. It's because estrogen is really high during those stages. It's safer for the body, and normally by 35, most women have like a pretty good career. Their husbands probably have a pretty good career. Like, they can financially sustain a child as well. Hag is a state of mind. I agree. Rage, welcome in. I'm doing my menopause lecture. This is important information. Careers in this economy? Well, I'm just saying, like, statistically. I don't know if it's true or not. But here, let me. Oh, I didn't even talk about the most important thing. In America, HRT is not really covered by many insurance companies, and a lot of the signs and symptoms of perimenopause really suck, but if there's no definitive results, then they're SOL, like it's not indicated. So, a lot of companies will just sell HRT medication to women, and they'll pay for it out of pocket, instead of it being covered by any insurance whatsoever. It's pretty crazy. Someone told me that there was some perimenopausal program where someone comes to your house and takes your blood and tests it for you. And I was like, oh, I bet there is, because that sounds like it makes $1 bajillion and it's not covered by any insurance whatsoever. It sounds like Botox, but for women who actually need medication. And it's hard because, like, a lot of the symptoms of perimenopause are like brain fog or depression or mood changes, and stuff like that can be caused by so many different things. So it's like a huge scam, low-key. The average age of menopause is 52. My mother is 47 years old. She should be close to menopausal age, and yet she is not. So those typically, as I was about to rejoin. Hi, Tabanya! Welcome in. Have you heard of menopause? It happens to every woman. Tabanya, welcome in. I hope that you were able to study hard. Are you ready to study even more? Welcome in. I hope you got everything that you needed done. Yeah, but for all intents and purposes, my mother should be close to menopause, and she's not. Because menopause can happen as late as 60s. And so, if she's having these readings, then that means she probably still has at least 5 years before she has any sign of not being fertile anymore. Sorry to talk about my mother like that. But it's the truth. So there's still a lot to be desired, and 30, 35, even 40 is not anywhere close to being called a hag. Hag is a state of mind. Pink Potatoes, welcome in. We're here to learn about menopause. It's like an all-day study day for Tapania fans. The age of 40 is in demand. Like, shit, why not? Trying to throw hands with mother? No, I told her this as such. I told her that. I was like, damn, you're not... I was really, really shocked because I kind of thought that she would be close. Hag equals 30 and over, says the internet. Well, they're wrong. They're wrong. I'm telling you, they're wrong. There is nothing hag-like about this. And people are the most fertile when they're 30 to 35. It's really like 20 to 35. But 30 to 35 is also a good age to start too. Hag start as low as 26? That's crazy. That's like peak. That's peak hormonal. I just don't get it. You think we could trick women's bodies out of the menopause by using a fake egg on a string? Probably not, because all that stuff stimulates stuff in the ovaries. If I had to give you a real answer, and the fake answer is yes. What if are you talking about like putting an egg like on a string, like how you do in like for soda can machines? Haglet? That is so sick. I have never heard of that term before. In Japan, they have a term called Christmas cake. Yeah, I've always hated that one too, because the whole concept is who wants a Christmas cake after the 25th? I do. I love Christmas cake. You ungrateful hack. What is that? I would eat a Christmas cake anytime. That doesn't mean anything to me. That one makes even less sense to me. I love Christmas. I would love to have Christmas cake. Shit. She's too old? I'm not old. I'm not even close to these. So I wanted to do this portion on advanced maternal age because I know I just told you guys, like, never give up. But this is really relevant to... It won't be sold after 25 days. Really? Not even on clearance? I'll pick it up. She's not menopausal. That's what I'm saying. She would be considered advanced maternal age, though, which is the medical classification for any pregnancy over the age of 35. I pulled this chart from the March of Dimes, actually, the March of Dimes website. So this shows the statistics on fertility rates by maternal age. And as you can see, the ages 20 to 29 and 30 to 39 are almost identical. So I don't know when your guys' moms had you, but it's pretty highly likely that your mom's had you when she was like 30, 35. I have a friend whose mom had her when she was 41. And she's normal, I mean, relatively. My mom had me at 21. That's very, very normal. But as you can see, the older demographics are having children at an equal rate as women who are 20 to 29. In Korea, women get married over 40. That's fair. But you can see, like, actually, these statistics are very slightly wrong. Because I saw on ACOG's website, the American Gynecologic and Obstetric Group, Society, whatever. ACOG is like the national accreditation for OBGYNs. But they said that this last year, 2024, was the first time in recorded history where people who were over the age of 40 were having children more than teens. I think it was like by a small margin. It was like 0.1% of all recorded pregnancies were over 40. Yeah. It's pretty crazy, which is good, because I don't think that we should have teen moms. I think that everyone should have children when they want to, when they're ready. Teen pregnancy L. Yeah, no more teen mom on MTV. Do you believe in Professor Oak, the absent dad, or Mr. Mime? She should just date me instead. Yes. Can we get Hag Mom on TLC? God, I wish. My God. My sister's having a baby next month. She's 35. Then she was probably counseled when she got pregnant on her advanced maternal age. So an AMA pregnancy is a lot different than one under that age, like one that you have at like 25, 30, even 32. I don't think that there's any real, like, worry. But advanced maternal age does cause a lot of complications if you already live an unhealthy lifestyle, like gestational hypertension, which is specifically high blood pressure in pregnancy that goes away after pregnancy. Also, when someone is AMA, they also have a higher risk of gestational diabetes or diabetes. It's not really called that, but I've heard someone say that before. Which they just have to take their insulin and check their blood sugars every single day. It's huge. I've seen people cry about it. It's also very, very, very common. In fact, I have like this little chart right here. Like, yeah, rates of gestational diabetes and pre-gestational diabetes doubled in the past 4 years. I pulled this info from the Maternal Fetal Medicine Society's website because this is like a pretty emerging subsection of OBGYN care, maternal fetal medicine. It specifically deals with high-risk pregnancies. like older pregnancies, like patients with diabetes, or like complex medical issues, or people who have genetic abnormalities. This is really, really, I don't really see that many people talk about it, but this is probably the fastest growing area of OBGYN care, in 2025 at least. My wife lived on a diet of only Diet Coke and Tendies. She will suffer after AMA pregnancy. Weren't the kids also trying to F the moms on MILF Manor too? Yes, I think so. I don't want to think about MILF Manor, but it's if they did conceive on MILF Manor, they would be taken care of because of maternal fetal medicine specialists. I have no idea what's going on since I just showed up, but cougars rule. We will never give up on you. I'm nowhere close to AMA or even menopause. It's relevant. Can you put MILF Manor in the bottom left corner? I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. Yeah, but you can even see in this chart right here, multiple gestation is becoming more common. In the United States at least, which is like twins, triplets, or more, and that's probably multifactorial. That's probably not because of anything in particular. It could be because of in vitro fertilization, which is very common for women over the age of 35. Like, infertility is super common in AMA pregnancies or couples trying to conceive AMA. Especially over age 40, it becomes much more difficult to have a child. And that's also pretty multifactorial because 50% of all infertility cases are caused by male infertility. But even still, sometimes people just can't conceive. But it becomes even harder to after age 35. I have this chart right here that shows rate of miscarriage after AMA. You can see it right here on my rightmost figure. Right here. So, like, in the rightmost figure, this shows fertility and miscarriage rates as a function of maternal age. And as you can see, after age 35, this 35 to 39 mark, it goes up exponentially. And it uses the term spontaneous abortion, which is the medical term for a miscarriage. There's like 3 different kinds. Like, spontaneous abortion is a miscarriage. Medical abortion is like one that uses medication, and therapeutic is like if the fetus was non-viable, or if it had like significant danger to like mother and baby. Spike, thank you for the 65 stream streak. It's Menno, keep going. It depends on the trimester. Yeah, actually, Zin, you are correct. You are correct. It depends on the trimester they're in. Yeah. That's true, but only half true. Because after a certain trimester, like the 2nd or 3rd trimester, it's technically considered a fetal demise. And that would require stuff that I probably can't go into on stream. But yes, it's called something different because the body can expel the miscarriage, whereas anything over the 2nd trimester, it cannot. Yeah, for the definitions they use, you are correct. Yes. Ugh. Oh my god, yeah, an ectopic pregnancy, that also has an increased risk in AMA pregnancies. And I can show... Yeah, maybe some of you know what an ectopic pregnancy is, but that's when the egg gets fertilized like way up here instead of down here where it's supposed to. And yeah, you can, your wife or your significant other or your relative likely, I shouldn't say this. Should I? It's highly likely that they would die if they tried to continue to carry this baby, an ectopic pregnancy. So if I were to just talk about that for a second, it's because when the recently fertilized egg grows, this thing is like super tiny in the body. And so it's growing at an exponential rate, and basically it'll explode. It'll explode this whole system instantly. And lots of people have died because of that before. So that's why prenatal care is so comprehensive. Like, you know, a bedside ultrasound and a normal ultrasound. And they also like see what HCG levels are. HCG is like human gonadotropin hormone, which is the blood test that they do to see if a woman is pregnant. So if it's high, they're pregnant. But if they have an ectopic pregnancy, then it doesn't rise appropriately. And that's due to some complex shit that I'm not going to explain either. But regardless, you can tell if someone has an ectopic pregnancy through their blood work. So they pretty much try and get that out of you as soon as physically possible so that you don't have all of your reproductive organs explode. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Like, it's like almost guaranteed. It's pretty crazy. I feel like I'm in a college anatomy class. Like, I'm learning things. That's what I'm trying to explain. That's kind of off topic. But yeah, I think it's like some crazy statistic. Like, you just gotta get it out. Like, you can't carry an ectopic pregnancy. You just will die. You will. There's really no getting around it. I saw this really scary TikTok of this lady who was saying that she was gonna carry her ectopic pregnancy to term, and I was like, oh my god, this is like last video before I watched this woman die. That made me feel very stressed out. What if you fertilized an egg and then just injected it into your enemy? You could. It sounds like really long-term warfare. They're like baby grenades that blow them into a tiny human after you activate them. Yeah, but most of the time, people want to be pregnant. How would you even give birth to it? You wouldn't. It would be a non-viable pregnancy. And apparently, occasionally, rarely, can the ectopic pregnancy be like just close enough that it can grow, but even still, I don't think that that's really possible, and I think that it's not a good idea either. I don't really know what that woman was thinking, but I hope that she's still alive. Or maybe she was joking, but she didn't seem like it. Anyways, yes. If someone has an ectopic pregnancy, they need like the whole area removed. So I can only imagine like it's pretty likely. Well, I don't want to conjecture, but it's in the event of one, like this whole tube would have to be removed, which makes it even harder to get pregnant again, which is very sad because most ectopic pregnancies are wanted. Is that a tuba? No, this is your fallopian tube. Would it even have an umbilical cord? Yes, because do I have a picture? Here. Because the way that babies grow, they grow inside of the placenta, and so their umbilical cord comes from the placenta, which is attached to the uterus, which is what grabs all the nutrients from the mother. So yeah, it'd have an umbilical cord, but it probably wouldn't be getting any nutrients regardless. Is the fallopian tube an instrument? I guess you could play it. It'd probably sound like a kazoo. Honestly, seeing all this makes me glad I got snipped after 2 kids so my wife doesn't have to deal with that. Yeah, it's pretty... You know, giving birth is one of the most complicated, most high-risk things anyone can do to their body. It has permanent changes to the body forever. And people used to die all the time in pregnancy. Like, how many like historical period pieces have you seen where like, oh, my wife died in childbirth, or my mother died in childbirth giving birth to you, you freak? Have you ever tried shaving your balls? No, and I hope to never. But you know, like, this is all relatively complicated stuff, which is why it's important to have, like, maternal fetal medicine doctors, because as the population gets more and more unhealthy, like, maintaining not just one body, but two bodies healthy during, like, all of these high-risk factors is really, really, really important. Oh yeah, but here, there's another big worry for, like, an advanced maternal age pregnancy is the risk of, like, chromosomal abnormality. Like, I have this right here, this chances of chromosomal abnormality. This is aneuploidy? I can't remember how to say it, but as you can see, it goes up exponentially at 35, which is why in maternal fetal medicine, they have all of these prenatal genetic testing. Like, they have this chorionic villus sampling as well as amniocentesis, which is basically where they take a super long needle and they just take a little bit of the soup that the baby's hanging out in, and they test that for genetic problems. My baby will have microplastics. Mine too, don't worry. I was probably also born with microplastics in my body. But yeah, it is a significant risk factor to have a child over 35. Like, I'm not gonna tell you guys, like, no, you guys should be impregnating hags all the time. No, what I'm saying is you guys should have all of the knowledge to do that. I think that that's important more than anything, because there's gonna be risks of everything. In fact, I'm just gonna use myself as an example. So this lower chart right here that says, like, risk of Down syndrome and risk of any chromosomal abnormality. So technically, my mom had me, I won't say when, but my risk of any chromosomal abnormality is crazy low. But my mom just got genetic testing that showed a chromosomal abnormality, and I too have that chromosomal abnormality. Like, this is not, like, set in stone. Even in, like, a super low risk, super safe, early age pregnancy, all of these issues still exist. They just have a higher incidence rate. It could always happen, which is why it's important to know all the facts. In my opinion, hag impregnating knowledge. And stop before the 21st! Zoomer babies growing in a mix of white monster and vape smoke. Yeah, they're getting that monster amniocentesis. To get to the pregnancy phase to begin with, I think it's appropriate. I believe in you guys. I don't even know who Scott Steiner is. But I'm just saying, like, there are risk factors to any pregnancy. Because it's a very complex thing that occurs to people. It's really complex. And I think that people don't give it enough credit when they just say, like, oh no, 30s are hags. Like, it's not really that true. It's not that true, first off. And also, it's way more complex than you're making it out to be. Meek, welcome in. What else did I have on here? Let me see. But yeah, there's lots of genetic testing now. Especially in the past 5 years, there's been a lot more genetic testing than there ever has been in the history of ever. So, like, all of these genetic abnormalities, like, let's just say one of you gets married, and then you had like a chromosomal abnormality that you didn't know you had, or that you were Ashkenazi Jewish, which is the highest risk demographic for genetic abnormalities, but you didn't know it. Both you and your wife would get tested genetically, and then they would test, like, the NIPT. I forget what NIPT stands for. Oh, it's non-invasive prenatal testing, which is blood work that you can get as well. And then you would know all of the risk factors based on your pedigree, which is like your parents, your wife's parents, you and your wife. And you would be able to get your genetics sequenced to see what kind of risk factors might exist for your baby. Only one of us will get married and one of us will be Ashkenazi. I don't know. I hope for the best for you guys. Of course. I mean, it's nice that you guys hang out with me. But I hope that maybe when you guys are older, love finds you in beautiful and mysterious ways, and then, but you guys will be older, so you'll need this. You'll think of me. You'll think of me when you're at your prenatal testing. Wouldn't that be crazy? You're gonna be at the OBGYN with your wife who's pregnant, and you're gonna be like, oh shit, this is what Citrus was talking about. That's what I'm hoping. I'll watch you till you stop streaming. What should we name it? Citrus. You're gonna get your child bullied. But yeah, nowadays there's so many ways to mitigate, like a high-risk pregnancy. And all of those things, like, older women's issues are already being, like, figured out or managed. Like, no one, it would shock me if there was any VTuber who was actually menopausal, outside of outliers that had some kind of issue with their ovaries. Like, no one that you know who streams right now is likely menopausal. It would shock me. I turned 37 in August? I may as well be dust! No, we are not! None of you are. That's what I'm trying to say. There's so much life to live. And all of these risk factors are pretty minimal. Like, it's still like just a roll of the dice every single time. Roll the dice, roll the dice, roll the dice, roll the dice. Just sometimes the dice are more loaded the older you get. That's really all it takes. But if your fictitious wife is under the age of 52, 52 is the age of menopause. She might even be older and still be fertile. Then you still have a chance. You just have more doctors in your life. Sometimes it's snake eyes all the way down. I can't disagree with that, but I will also say that sometimes it's not all snake eyes all the way down. You're speaking my language! Yes, yes! How many doctors for a healthy M pregnancy? You're gonna have your own care team. Yeah. Well, Mac, the issue with that, talking point is that, like, for a long time, I didn't bring this up because I really couldn't find any data on it. But for a long time, women didn't get their periods until, like, ages 15 to 18. Like, you could say, like, oh, women get their periods at, like, age 11 or, like, age 12 because, like, that's when they're most fertile. It's incorrect because that's technically not true. And second off, like, because of all of these different environmental and social and physical factors, and I think microplastics, the age of menstruation has gone down dramatically. Like, what is it? Like, since in 1950, the average age of menstruation was 15. And even before that, it was even higher. So, like, the window of time for, like, actual fertilization was really, really, really small. I mean, if people live to age 45. Like, I can't even imagine what age people actually started their period. Like, let's say, like, Homo sapiens. We don't know that, but I can only imagine that based on your overall health, it was probably something like some women didn't get periods at all because they were so scrappy or they died due to malnutrition. Yeah, really did because people died so young, yeah. The mean is lower because stress kills. True, yeah. Yeah, so, like, you know, like, it's all really complicated and it's really hard to, like, base things on, like, the past or the future because everything's constantly changing. And if I had to say it, like, these particular questions that I'm talking about right now are pretty understudied. And so it's pretty difficult. It's difficult to answer some questions like that or to respond to sentences like that. I think, oh yeah, this is my last slide for the menopause lecture. Basically, menopause doesn't happen for a long time, so like don't even worry about it. The wall is really when a woman is most fertile, as I've reiterated into infinity. And even if you date an older woman and you get her pregnant, there's lots of ways to mitigate the risk factors or to know them beforehand and not be surprised. And everyone online is wrong. Was your chat worried about menopause? No, but I know a lot about it. Citrus wants to specialize in menopause so she gets to meet lots of older women. I think that even if I go into OBGYN right now, I would be surrounded by older women. I already am at Idol training. You're also online? Yeah, but I actually read, which is way different than the average person. I do like research, which I would be hard pressed to find anyone on the internet who had an opinion who did any research. Okay, ask me your questions now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. That's all I have, but I got to so many different portions, like things that I didn't even have slides for, so I think that was pretty comprehensive. But yeah, this is what I think about in my spare time, and it's deeply, deeply boring overall. How do I get a girl to like me? Just be yourself and take showers and have a varied amount of interests. I think that helps the most. I always try to at least know one thing about every subject. Like football, like I don't really pay attention to football anymore, but when I saw that Aaron Rodgers was being traded to the Steelers, I was like, oh my god, that makes me sick. Or like, you know, like I know generally about most topics. Fishing, I like fishing. I like going outside occasionally. I know things about hiking. I can tell you about food. Invite her to shower with me. Good presentation made me squirm out of 10? Is that good or bad? V-Root, thank you so much for the follow. If a woman in my life is menopausal, how do I make her feel better? That's a hard question. Let me think. It really depends on what she's angry about. A lot of the time, mood changes like that are really difficult for menopausal women to manage. And also, I think that a lot of menopausal symptoms related to mood and irritability are honestly caused by midlife to quarter life crisis, like 3/4 life crises. And so, I don't know. If the menopausal woman in your life is sad, you should tell her to go see her GP and maybe she can get on the HRT. Because for some people, anecdotally, it does work. Like, they have resolution of almost all of their symptoms. But you're in England, right? I think that the new quality of care in America is that HRT needs to be started within 5 years after menopause, or it's not as effective. So I do kind of wonder what the guidelines are in England on that kind of thing. Probably pretty similar. But yeah, there's all sorts of different HRT medications. There's like a patch. I was talking about it previously. When was it? I was playing something where I was talking about pellets, which are bio-identical little chiclets that they inject into the fat of the buttocks, and it releases over 3 months, and people really like that. It's like a cocktail of estrogen and progesterone and sometimes testosterone. I don't know why. Going back to the idea of a saplingectomy to resolve an ectopic. Will the body recalibrate now that it's missing the tube or ovary? Sometimes no. It really does depend on the person. I think that a lot of those hormones are controlled by the ovaries. You are correct, and a saplingectomy would be indicated. But I think it depends on how dominant the ovary was, how much was taken, how close the patient was to menopause to begin with, and how efficient the other ovary is. Because realistically, the other ovary is probably working overtime. I'm trying to think. It definitely has a strong impact on fertility, but hormonally, I think it might still be a pretty okay equivalent. It's like when you get rid of one of your kidneys. The other kidney just works double time. Said it's helping? Awesome. Yeah, but it's... Yeah. Zin, why do you know so much? Or Wizard Pixels, I'm surprised that you know what a self-lingectomy is, but I guess it's not super surprising. I used to work for an OBGYN, okay. Excellent, excellent. You have one lung, it works more. Yes, yes. Yeah, I know that anecdotally, some people who have a bilateral saplingectomy, they can start having menopausal issues really early, but a lot of the times, a bilateral saplingectomy is only done in cases of like ovarian cancer or high risk of familial high risk of ovarian cancer, and some people will get on hormones for that. But it depends on person to person. Of course, menopausal women, some people have really bad symptoms and some people don't have any at all. And so that's why I feel like a lot of the mood swings in particular are due to environmental factors more than they're actually due to anything hormonal. And that's so difficult to pin down. So I can't say like it's definitely person to person. The issue that most menopausal women have that gets them onto HRT is it's called vasomotor symptoms, hot flashes, night sweats, insomnia, those kinds of like hormonal irregularities. And I think it does have a lot to do with like, you know, like how dudes are high T or low T. Like high testosterone dudes, like they lose hair. High testosterone dudes are more likely to lose hair earlier than other men. I think that it might have something to do with that, but I didn't research that, so I wouldn't be able to tell you definitively. Trying to think of other menopausal issues, but yeah. Hopefully you guys understand your mothers more. If your mom gets angry at you, just be like, damn. Your hypothalamic pituitary ovarian axis must be going crazy today. How expensive are pellets? Pellets aren't covered by any insurances. They're about... Oh shit, I think it depends. It depends on how many pellets you get also. I think it's like up to $300 every 3 months. And a lot of OBGYNs think it's bullshit, because there's no proven efficacy to them. But people who get pellets, they really love them. Holy shit. They love pellets. Oh my god. Never seen so many anecdotal, people be like, pellets changed my life. Pellets changed my life. Holy shit. Jinsei, thank you for the 5 gift subs. If you got a gift sub, make sure to say thank you. Now you reach your sub goal. That sub goal is fake. Well, it's... Thank you. Thank you. The docs are in the hands of Big Pellet. Actually, they aren't. In my area, there's only like 2 or 3 places that do pellets. And some doctors hate doing pellets, like especially... Because there's nothing proven. No proven efficacy. But people really like them. I don't know. I don't really know what bioidentical means either. That's like a fancy catch term. It's and this just like goes back into the whole concept of HRT makes a lot of money for people who know that these women are having these new symptoms and don't know how to properly treat them. And you know what? Sometimes you just have to live with being menopausal. It sucks. Like, HRT medication, in addition, can significantly increase chance of stroke. it increases blood pressure really, really high. It depends. It also depends on like the health of the person. Yeah, oh yeah. It identically to whatever natural hormone is trying to replicate. Yeah, but that's like, it's like the same idea as like eating collagen. Like collagen gummies or collagen pellet. Or like collagen like pills. The thing is that if you say you took a collagen pill every day, that does shit all to you because collagen does not get absorbed through the stomach. It's all fake. Like it's so it's kind of difficult. Does a hysterectomy stop menopause? A hysterectomy starts menopause. Well, it depends. There's a couple of different types of hysterectomy. There's like the total abdominal hysterectomy, which is everything. Then there's a supracervical hysterectomy, which is just the uterus. If you don't have your uterus, you will go into surgical menopause. No. Nothing stops the flow of time, sadly. And the more of your the more a woman removes her reproductive organs, the closer to menopause they will be. I eat 24 pellets of my butt turned into a large female bosom. You gotta link me to the pellets that you got, bro. I want that to happen to me. Yeah, and the reason why that happens is because like, as I said before, all of these hormones are being regulated by the reproductive system. Like, FSH stimulates the egg to grow. And then when the egg explodes out of this little capsule, this capsule releases progesterone, which stops FSH from being produced anymore. And so when all of these factors are taken out, the female body just starts kind of going haywire because all of these previous like regulatory processes, they all just stopped happening. And so the body tries to overcompensate at first. And I think that probably a lot of the perimenopausal issues that happen are because of that initial shift between, let me move myself. Which one is me? Oh my god, bruh. Oh, here I am. Yeah, like in this little chart over here. Yeah, like the decrease in estradiol, increase in FSH, that kind of thing. It's all very interconnected. I have like, I think this is probably like the upper extent of my knowledge, unfortunately. But I do have a lot of knowledge in women's health in general, which is why like all this stuff that's been going on with my mom has been like really hardcore for me because I'm like, oh my god, I recognize everything that's happening and I want to die. But like, it really is so interesting to me, which is why I focused it in college. Because the second that I took anatomy and physiology, I was like, this is all really interesting, don't you think? Like all of these constantly checks and balancing systems just happen constantly. Stopping FSH production. FSH is produced in the brain. The brain stimulates the pituitary gland, which stimulates the ovaries. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you could cut out that little portion of the brain that stimulates FSH, but actually, I don't know. Don't take that at face value. I don't know anything about the brain, nor do I want to. Here, we can go back to my chatting screen. Bing. Here I am. But yeah, hopefully that was enjoyable and fun. I had a lot of fun doing it. And it was fun for me to learn more, too. Unfortunately, I should have been studying more of my homework. That's okay. And also, today's like a double feature, too. Isn't cutting out the pituitary, like, not viable at all? No, that would be really bad to do. I don't know too much about the pituitary gland, but that's, like, related to all of your growth hormones. Give me that menopausal lobotomy. I'm sure that there are some women who wish they could have their menopausal lobotomy. But but never give up on older women. Basically, no VTuber that you know is menopausal. So it's not funny when you say, "Oh, she's a dying star." Give their uterus to Oni-chan? Okay. I could use a regular lobotomy, a non-menopausal lobotomy. All the men VTubers are, that's true. Damn, all those male VTubers are so out of eggs. Holy cringe. I don't know, why even bother? Why even bother watching? Today's a double feature though, because I'm also going to do a little bit of karaoke, because I thought that it would be lame if I just did my menopause lecture and then I didn't do anything else. So how's that sound? I just have a couple of... I've been wanting to sing for so long. I don't know why, but I really got the bug. And I don't want to go to karaoke with my family. No quiz! No, all of you asked really excellent questions. I thought those were all very good questions. I'm pretty satisfied. You guys sounded like you were paying attention, honestly. Which is pretty nice. I didn't know how I didn't know if any of you care. But, I mean, I don't know, it's fun. It's fun for me. Can it be ovary-themed karaoke? Oh, you know what I should have done? No. I just thought about, another thing that I really hate that's so goofy in fan fiction. So me and Kiwi were just talking about it, Kiwi's Corner. I didn't really pay attention. You're lucky. You're lucky. You check your online course module for next steps. Over easy. Oh my god, goofy. Goofy. I was talking about this with Kiwi, but for some reason, women in particular writing fan fiction, like if it's like straight people fan fiction, not yaoi, they love to talk about ovulation. Like, I read some garbage. I was talking to Kiwi that like, man, I should never read Love in Deep Space fanfiction because I read the words, like one of the dudes in Love in Deep Space was like, I can smell that you're ovulating. Like, what the fuck? No, you can't. What is that? That sounds like nothing. Like, and then like, oh, I can't control myself because I'm ovulating. Like, yes, you can. It's not that deep. That's not how it works. You don't even know. You wouldn't even know. Some people try so hard to get pregnant, but they can't track their cycles so hard that they have to buy at-home testing. Like, it's that difficult to know when you're ovulating. Yeah, my eggs are moving on their own. The guys really say that to women? No, women will say that. Women will write men who say that to women. I don't think that I would be hard-pressed to believe that a man would say that and be correct. So they probably wouldn't say it at all. I mean, shit. Maybe someone said it. That would, I guess it wouldn't surprise me, but it would definitely give me the ick. Anything about anatomy is interesting, even if it makes me squirm. No man has ever said that in history. Thank God. Yeah, I sent Kiwi the image because I was like, I'm gonna throw up. I think I backed out of the fanfiction immediately. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean you can smell her ovulating? No, you can't. What does that mean? You can smell the ruptured corpus luteum? What does that smell like? I don't know. I don't know, bro. I don't know what that means. But regardless, that's a lecture for a different time, but I should have added it in just as a little aside for myself, because I've seen it not once, but twice. I've seen it twice in fanfiction recently. And of course, both of them were Love in Deep Space fanfics, so it's really on me. But I was just like, man, this is not how it works, bruh. This is not how it works. You can't just say this. Burnt rubber? It actually smells like burning toast. Don't go check to see if you had a stroke. Can you get scented women's sanitary products? That's not when you're ovulating. Ovulation is like immediately before period. That's like the time that's like immediately right before your period, so they wouldn't be wearing products. It's just like the ode to ovulation. Like, there would be no indicator. This streak has come to an end. Thank you for the 25 stream streak. Hi, Captain. Bears can smell menstruation? I heard it in a film, maybe. But that would only be because of, like, the menstrual blood. It'd be like vampires can smell you when you're on your period. I am willing to test this by smelling women. Okay, good luck. Don't go to jail. Yeah, like pheromones. But you don't release pheromones like that. That's not what happens. It's okay. You know what? If I just turn my brain off. Cool, yeah. That's like hot, I think. Sure. That's like less than high school biology. That's like nothing. That's like TikTok biology. Captain, thank you so much for the follow. But yeah, it's not like, also, I don't want this to sound like I'm being mean to people for being wrong. Realistically, all the things that I talked about are pretty complicated, and it would be hard to explain in a TikTok that was funny enough for people to watch it. So I can't even really blame people for being misinformed about how things work. And like all of the stuff, like all the stuff about menopause, like realistically you don't learn for a really long time. It's pretty great. It's just interesting. I like biology. Me too. I was initially a plant biology major, and then I was a biology major, and then I realized that my major wasn't gonna transfer, so I switched to interdisciplinary science, which is also fun. But I've always thought that biology is really interesting, and it's so goddamn complicated. I'm not excited to have to learn general biology again. I like learning about women's health. I think it's very complicated and very interesting. TikTokers don't deserve this knowledge, nor do they have it. I know that they don't. Man, yeah, I don't know. I don't use TikTok, so I guess I can't say. But you'd be hard pressed to find any relevant medical information on a TikTok, I feel like. The only TikToks that I watch that are medical information are dermatology. We do a plant lecture. Ooh, I always thought that learning about photosynthesis was really complicated. Oh, that'd be fun. It's such a complicated process, the sun energy being transferred to the plant. Everyone hated that, but I was like, this shit rocks. It's like a 5-step process before it gets absorbed into the plant. It's all like chemicals. Maybe that's why I initially liked organic chemistry, because I was like, wait, I kind of understand this. Soak strawberries in bleach? Do they turn white? That's not... They don't eat it, do they? That's like Darwinism at its finest. Maybe I should download TikTok. I feel like I'm so out of the loop when things happen. But also, maybe that's kind of peaceful in its own way. It's more fun to read the same fanfictions that I always read all the time. Play video games and sleep. Don't bonk me. Remember Tide Pods? Yeah. Chikawa episodes and Sopranos clips. No medical knowledge. Thank you for the hat off. But yeah, I think I might take like a 15-minute break, and then I'm gonna they tell people to eat them? Okay, well I guess they'll die. Or they'll have a bad time. Shit. I'm gonna take like a 15-minute break. I'm gonna end the stream and then set up for karaoke. How's that sound? And it'll just be like, you know, like a normal little karaoke. It won't be anything crazy. But we can sing and dance and if you're not following me, or if you're not on my Discord, you should join my Discord. And then it'll ping you guys when I'm ready. But how's that sound? Thank you guys for coming to my lecture. Also, it's good for me to stop the stream so that I can compartmentalize all these lecture portions. I'm so glad that I finally got my rhythm for the lecture, because there was a time during the lecture where I got so tongue-tied trying to explain concepts that I had to back up and go from the beginning, which really was the biology portion, I guess. But yeah, thank you guys! Thank you! And then after Offkai, I'll be doing the Maid RP subathon goal. So stay tuned for that. I'm pretty excited. But I'll see you guys in like 15 minutes. Bye-bye. I'm not gonna raid out. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Oh wait, I should do my ending screen. Bye-bye.